Here's a little trick that I have used for many years. I learned it when I was a young intern, and I kind of use it as a crutch ever since then. I can't argue with the results. And that is just a very customized shadow that fades out to one side or the other so that there's a little bit of extra depth behind an object. So just by way of example, here's how you might have treated a drop shadow on a banner like this at the top of a card, for example. But it's consistently the same gradient all the way across, and that's not quite as interesting as what I'm looking for. What I want is the sort of suggestion that there's a little bit of undulation underneath this banner, that there's a slight change of distance between the two layers. And just a single drop shadow doesn't do the trick. So what I typically do is I will make a new layer, and I'm gonna call it rounded shadow, and putting it behind my banner. And all I have is a basic ass black brush here. That's just a soft round brush, and I just drop one little blob of black onto that layer. You can see it's completely enclosed within the artboard so that I get as much of the soft edge as I possibly can. Then I just squish it down to about say this size. You can kind of eyeball it, and if you put it underneath the object that you want to to be casting the shadow, you kind of get this interesting effect. And where you can really enhance it is if you give it a mask that cuts off, so you just make it look like the line is just right there. So I'm just going to mask this right there. You could also just delete it if you want. And it creates just a much more interesting drop shadow effect than the actual layer action would do for you. You can also combine them if you want. So say you did want a consistent drop shadow across the entire thing, but with just a little bit of extra drama of this rounded shadow, that's totally cool. And what's more, you can just duplicate this even more and start stretching it out even more if you wanted to, and start getting a little bit of extra stuff going on. It can get overboard a little bit, but I think the effect is much nicer than just a standard drop shadow on its own. Hopefully you'll find it useful too. All right, bye.